How are you guys doing? Today is Monday, September 6th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the elite matchups and performances that took place first in the MLB and in college football in the United States. In the continent, all the countries of North America were facing off against one another to compete for the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, and additionally, that was taking place in Africa and in Europe as well. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time, as we are as we are now past the last Sunday without NFL football until February. So that's where we are. And just looking into yesterday's game, starting with college football, the only football game that took place yesterday took place in Tallahassee, Florida. Unranked Florida State hosted 9th-ranked Notre Dame, and the Fighting Irish would end up winning this game 41-38. They would end up taking a 38-20 lead at the end of 30. And then the Florida State Seminoles would outscore Notre Dame 18-0 in the fourth quarter to tie it up. And then in overtime, Florida State would miss their field goal attempt and Notre Dame would make theirs to make them 1-0 on the season. For Florida State, their leading rusher, Jashawn Corbin, finished with 144 yards and 15 carries on the day, as well as a touchdown. And also for the 9th-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish, their starting quarterback, Jack Cohn, threw for 366 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. Their leading receiver was Michael Mayer. He had 120 yards on 9 receptions and a touchdown. With this win, 9th-ranked Notre Dame is 1-0 on the season, and with this loss, unranked Florida State is 0-1. That's all that's going on in college football as the entire week one is complete, especially for the ranked opponents. The next matchup for college football won't take place until Friday, September 10th. But I'm going to wait until the new rankings are set. But right now, that's what they're looking like. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB right now, looking at the nation's capital from yesterday, the Washington Nationals hosted the New York Mets. And after the score was tied at 6 at the bottom of the 5th by Washington, the Mets would score a run in the top of the 8th to take a 1-run lead over the Nationals, and then they'd score 6 in the top of the 9th to pick up their 69th win of the season. They won this game 13-6. For the Washington Nationals in this matchup, the start was given to Josiah Gray. He allowed 6 earned runs in the first 3 innings of the game as he struck out 2. The loss was given to the Nats' third relief pitcher on the day, Andres Machado. Andres Machado would allow 1 earned run in 0.1 inning pitched. He would go on to start the 7th inning, but he wouldn't finish. And with this loss, he's 1-2. In the Nats batting lineup, their center fielder, Lane Thomas, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 3rd home run of the season. And then for the New York Mets, the start was given to Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker allowed 6 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The win was given to the Mets' 3rd relief pitcher on the day, Aaron Loup. Aaron Loup would allow no earned runs in the 7th inning as he was unable to strike out a batter, and with this win, he's now 5-0 on the year. In the Mets batting lineup, their third baseman, Jonathan Villar, will go 2 for 6 with an RBI and 2 runs. He would hit his 18th home run of the season. Their elite shortstop, Francisco Lindor, would end up going 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 13th home run of the year. Their elite first baseman, Pete Alonso, went 3 for 5 with 2 runs. Their right fielder, Michael Conforto, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs, as Michael Conforto had a nice game for himself. Then their elite second baseman, Javier Baez, would go 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. Javi Baez would hit his 28th home run of the season. Their left fielder, Jeff McNeil, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Additionally, their center fielder, Kevin Pillar, went 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a run. Pillar hit his 14th home run of the season. With this win, the New York Mets are 69-68. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East. They've won 7 of their last 10 games as they trail the Atlanta Braves by 3.5 games in the division. And they trail the San Diego Padres by 4 games for that second National League wildcard spot, as the Mets are the 4th team on the outside of the wildcard picture looking in. As in addition to the Padres, who actually hold the spot, they trail the Cincinnati Reds, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the St. Louis Cardinals. All red teams, by the way. It doesn't even matter, but I thought it was worth saying. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are now 56-80. That is the worst record in the National League East, as they've lost 8 of their last 10 games. They currently trail the Atlanta Braves by 16 games in the division, as right now that is where they sit. With jumping out to the Bronx, the New York Yankees hosted the Baltimore Orioles, and the Orioles were able to beat the Yankees 8-7, as the Yankees were able to take a 7-4 lead in the bottom of the 6th. But then the Orioles would score 4 runs in the top of the 7th, of course, being topped off by an RBI single from Kelvin Gutierrez to give them the edge over the New York Yankees. For the Yankees in this matchup, the start went to their elite starting pitcher, Corey Kluber. Kluber allowed 2 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 5 before getting pulled in the 4th inning. The loss was given to the Yankees' 3rd relief pitcher on the day, Andrew Heaney. Heaney allowed 4 earned runs in 0.1 inning pitched. He would go on to start the 7th inning, but he would not finish it. And with this will be his first blown save of the year. With this loss, Andrew Heaney is 8-9 on the year. In the Yankees batting lineup, their elite second baseman, DJ LeMahieu, went 2 for 4 with a run. And then their elite shortstop, Gleyber Torres, would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs for himself. Also, their elite catcher, Gary Sanchez, would go 2 for 4 with 6 RBIs and 2 runs. He would go on to hit his 19th and 20th home runs of the season for New York. For the Baltimore Orioles in this matchup, the start was given to Keegan Akin. He allowed 4 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win was given to the Orioles' 3rd relief pitcher on the day, Marcos Diplan. Diplan would allow 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched, and with this win, he's now 1-0 on the season. The save was given to the Orioles closer, Tyler Wells. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, and with this save, he now has 1 on the season. In the Orioles batting lineup, their all-star center fielder, Cedric Mullins, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Cedric Mullins hit his 25th home run of the year. Their left fielder, Austin Hayes, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 15th home run of the year. And then their third baseman, Kelvin Gutierrez, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run, one of those hits being the game-winning RBI for the Orioles. With this win, the Baltimore Orioles are 43-92. That is the worst record in the American League East, the worst record in the American League, and the worst record in all of baseball as well. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 4 of their last 10. They trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 42 games in the division, as they are one of 2 teams who are officially eliminated from playoff contention in the American League. The other team being the Texas Rangers. With this loss, the New York Yankees are 78-58. That is the 2nd best record in the American League East. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 7.5 games in the division, and they're holding on to that top spot in the American League wild card picture as they sit half a game ahead of the 2nd place Boston Red Sox. Jumping out to Toronto, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Oakland Athletics, and they were able to pull off an 8-0 win at home as they were only able to hold the A's to 2 hits all game. For the Oakland Athletics, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Cole Irvin. Irvin allowed 7 earned runs in 2.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters before getting pulled in the 3rd. In the A's batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that would be attributed to great pitching from Toronto. For the Blue Jays, the start and win went to Robbie Ray. He allowed no earned runs and only 1 hit in 6.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 10 batters before getting pulled in the 7th, and with this win, he's now 11-5 on the season. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., would go 3 for 5 with 2 runs on the day. Their all-star second baseman, Marcus Semien, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 35th home run of the season. Their all-star shortstop, Bo Bichette, would end up going 4 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their catcher, Alejandro Kirk, would end up going 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. As he would go on to hit his 5th home run, he was just a triple shy of the cycle. And with this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are 73-62. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've won their last 4 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They have the 2nd best winning streak in the American League at the moment. And they sit 12 games behind the American League East leading Tampa Bay Rays, and they are trailing the Boston Red Sox by 4 games for that 2nd American League wildcard spot alongside the Oakland A's. They are the 2nd team on the outside looking in, as they only trail the Seattle Mariners in that regard. With this loss, the Oakland Athletics are now 74-63. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West, as they have now lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They trail the Houston Astros by 5.5 games in the division, and they now currently trail the Boston Red Sox by 4 games alongside the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League wild card. They've won 1 more game and they've lost 1 more game than the Blue Jays, so they're sitting right behind them, but they're sitting even with them in the race. The Oakland A's are the 3rd team on the outside looking in at this very moment. Jumping out to Boston, the Red Sox hosted the Cleveland Indians in Fenway, and the Indians would end up beating the Red Sox 11-5 after scoring 6 runs in the first 3 innings, and then topping the cherry on top. The Red Sox would score 5 runs and bring the game to within an inning, to which the Indians would score 5 runs in the 9th inning to create that extra separation. For the Boston Red Sox, the loss was given to their starting pitcher for the day, Cutter Crawford. Cutter Crawford would allow 5 earned runs in 2 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters as he was pulled in the 3rd inning. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their right fielder, Hunter Renfroe, went 3 for 5 with 2 runs. Their elite designated hitter, J.D. Martinez, went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 25th home run of the season. Their catcher, Kevin Plevecki, would go 2 for 5, and then their third baseman, Bobby Dalbec, would go 2 for 5. For the Cleveland Indians, the win went to their starting pitcher, Zach Plesac. He allowed 3 earned runs in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 5. With this win, he's 10-4 on the season. The save was given to the Indians' closer, Emmanuel Clase. Clase allowed no earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched. He would finish the 8th and 9th innings of this game. This would be his 21st of the year. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. In the Indians batting lineup, their shortstop, Ahmed Rosario, will go 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their designated hitter, Franmil Reyes, would go 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 26th home run of the year. Their left fielder, Harold Ramirez, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run for himself. And then at the same time, their third baseman, Owen Miller, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are 68-66. That is the 2nd best record in the American League Central. They've won 6 of their last 10 games as they trail the Chicago White Sox by 9.5 games in the division. And with this loss, the Boston Red Sox are 79-60. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. Win percentage-wise, they have more wins than the Yankees, but win percentage-wise, the Yankees are higher. The Red Sox have lost 4 of their last 10 games as they trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 8 games in the division, and they're holding on to that 2nd American League wildcard spot, sitting half a game behind the New York Yankees, who are holding that 1st spot, and they sit 3 games ahead of the Seattle Mariners, who at the moment are the 1st team on the outside looking in. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Reds hosted the Detroit Tigers, and in this interleague matchup, the Tigers would beat the Reds 4-1. The difference would be the 6th inning, in which the Tigers would end up scoring 3, 2 of them off of a triple from Jeimer Candelario. For the Cincinnati Reds, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Luis Castillo. He allowed 3 runs in the first 6 innings of the game as he would go on to strike out 7. With this loss, he's 7-15 on the year. In the Reds batting lineup, their center fielder, Tyler Naquin, went 2 for 3. And for the Detroit Tigers, the start went to Casey Mize. He allowed no earned runs and no hits in the first 3 innings of the game as he struck out 2. The win was given to the Tigers' first relief pitcher on the day, Jose Urena. Urena would allow no earned runs in 2.2 innings pitched. He struck out a batter, and with this win, he's 3-8 on the season. The save will go to the Tigers' all-star closer, Gregory Soto. Soto allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched. He would finish the 8th and 9th innings for Detroit. In this, he would strike out 2. In addition to his 18th save of the season. In the Detroit Tigers batting lineup, their center fielder Akil Baddoo will go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their third baseman Jamer Candelario will go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run, as he would hit his third triple of the year. With this win, the Detroit Tigers are 65-73. That is the third best record in the American League Central. They've won 4 of their last 10 games as they sit 14.5 games behind the Chicago White Sox in the division. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are now 73-65, which is actually the inverse of the Tigers record. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 11 games in that division. They trail the San Diego Padres by half a game in the National League wildcard race, as the Reds are the first team on the outside looking in at this very moment in time. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, the American League's best team hosted the Minnesota Twins, and the Twins would end up beating the Rays 6-5 thanks to a game-winning RBI single from Nick Gordon. That would give in the 9th inning, that would give the Twins the 6-5 win. They're 59th of the year. For Tampa Bay, the start was given to Luis Patino. Patino allowed 4 earned runs in 2.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 batters before getting pulled in the third inning. The loss would end up going to the Rays' closer, Andrew Kittredge. Kittredge allowed 1 earned run in the 9th inning, and with this loss, he's 8-3 on the year. In the Twins batting lineup, the start was given to Griffin Jax. Jax allowed 4 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched. He would pick up 3 strikes in his start. The win would go to the Twins' third relief pitcher for the day, Tyler Duffy. Tyler Duffy allowed no earned runs in the 8th inning, and with his win, he's 3-3 on the season. The save will go to the Twins' closer, Alex Colome. Colome allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, and this would be his 11th save of the season. In the Twins batting lineup, their third baseman, Luis Arraez, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Their center fielder, Byron Buxton, went 2 for 5 with a run. Their designated hitter, former American League MVP Josh Donaldson, went 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their second baseman, Nick Gordon, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. And also their left fielder, Jake Cave, would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run for himself. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are 59-77. That is the worst record in the American League Central. They've won 4 of their last 10 games as they trail the American League Central by 19.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 86-51. That is the best record in the American League East. They've lost only 3 of their last 10 games as they sit 7.5 games ahead of the second place New York Yankees in their division. At the moment, they are holding on to the number 1 seed in the American League playoff picture, sitting ahead of the 2nd seed Houston Astros leading the West, and they're also sitting ahead of the 3rd seed Chicago White Sox, who are currently leading the Central at the moment. Jumping out to Miami, in the same state, the Miami Marlins hosted the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies would beat the Marlins 4-3 in the 10th inning, thanks to an RBI single from Odubel Herrera. For the Miami Marlins, in their 80th loss of the season, the start was given to Eliezer Hernandez. Eliezer Hernandez would allow 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss was given to the Marlins closer, Dylan Floro. Dylan Floro would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning, and with his strikeout, he now has 1 on the season. He had 1 on the night, and with this loss, he's 5-6 on the season. In the Marlins batting lineup, nobody on the team had more than one hit. Brian De La Cruz, their left fielder, went 1-for-3 with 2 RBIs. That was his 3rd home run of the year. And then for the Philadelphia Phillies, the start was given to Sam Coonrod. Sam Coonrod allowed 1 earned run in 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The win was given to the Philadelphia Phillies closer Ian Kennedy. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th and 10th innings as he struck out 4. With this win, he's 1-0 on the year. In the Phillies batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than one hit. Their elite right fielder, Bryce Harper, would go 1-for-3 with an RBI and a run as he had his 27th home run of the year. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are 70-66. That is the 2nd best record in the National League East. They are the 7th team in the National League to cross the 70-win threshold. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. They sit 3.5 games behind the they sit 2 games behind the Atlanta Braves in the division at the moment. And they currently sit 2.5 games behind the San Diego Padres for that 2nd National League wildcard spot. They are the 2nd team on the outside looking in as they only trail the Cincinnati Reds as well. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are 57-80. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They've lost 4 of their last 10 as they trail the Atlanta Braves by 15.5 games in the division. And just to give a sense, that's where the Miami Marlins are sitting at the moment. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Royals hosted the Chicago White Sox. The Royals were able to shut the White Sox out 6-0, despite the fact that both teams finished with 6 hits each. For the Chicago White Sox, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease would allow 3 earned runs in 5 innings as he struck out 9. With this loss, he's 11-7 on the season. In the White Sox batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their second baseman, Leury Garcia. Garcia went 2-for-4. For the Kansas City Royals, the win went to their starting pitcher, Brady Singer. Singer allowed no earned runs and only 4 hits in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, Brady Singer is 4-9 on the year. In the Royals batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Whit Merrifield, went 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run. Their shortstop, Nicky Lopez, went 2-for-4 with 2 runs. And with this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 61-75. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central. They've won 5 of their last 10 games as they trail the Chicago White Sox by 17.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox are 79-58. That is the best record in the American League Central as they've lost 4 of their last 10 games. They sit 9.5 games ahead of the 2nd place Cleveland Indians in their division, and they're holding on to that 3rd seed in the American League playoff picture, as they currently trail the 1st seed Tampa Bay Rays from the East, and they also trail the Houston Astros, who are holding that 2nd seed from the West. Jumping out to jumping into Milwaukee. I'm moving into Chicago. I did mention Chicago. The Chicago Cubs hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates, and after the Pirates were leading 8-7, the Chicago Cubs would put up a 4-run 7th inning thanks to a grand slam hit from Frank Schwindel to give the Chicago Cubs what they needed to pick up their 63rd win of the season to win it 11-8. For the Pittsburgh Pirates in this matchup, the start was given to Will Crowe. He allowed 7 earned runs in 3 innings as he struck out a batter. The loss was given to the Pittsburgh Pirates' 4th relief pitcher on the day, Sam Howard. He would allow 2 earned runs in 0.1 inning pitched within the 7th inning. With this loss, he's 2-4 on the year. In the Pirates batting lineup, their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, went 4-for-5 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs. He had his 22nd home run of the season. Their catcher, Jacob Stallings, went 2-for-3 with 2 RBIs. And for the Chicago Cubs, the start was given to Zach Davies. Davies allowed 6 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The win was given to the Chicago Cubs' 4th relief pitcher on the day, Adbert Alzolay. Alzolay allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, he's 5-13 on the season, and the save was given to the Cubs' closer, Rowan Wick. Wick allowed no earned runs in the 8th and 9th innings as he struck out 2. This would be his third save of the year. In the Cubs batting lineup, their first baseman, Frank Schwindel, would go 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 11th home run of the season. Their left fielder, Ian Happ, went 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run for himself. Additionally, their second baseman, Matt Duffy, went 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his second and third home runs of the season. Their right fielder, Jason Hayward, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as well. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are 63-75. That is the fourth best record in the National League Central, as they've won their last 6 games and they've won 7 of their last 10. Their 6-game winning streak is currently the best winning streak in all of baseball right now. They trailed the Milwaukee Brewers still by 21 games in the division. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 48-89. That is the second worst record in the National League. They've lost their last 6 games. That is the worst losing streak in all of baseball at the moment. And at the same time, they trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 35.5 games in the division. They are 1 game away from being eliminated from playoff contention, but as of right now, they are still competitive. Jumping out to Denver, the Colorado Rockies hosted the Atlanta Braves, and the Braves were able to pull off a 9-2 win after scoring 5 runs in the 3rd inning. For the Colorado Rockies, the start and loss were given to their starting pitcher for the day, Ryan Feltner. Feltner allowed 6 earned runs in 2.2 innings pitched. With this loss, he's 0-1 on the season. In the Rockies batting lineup, the only player that would register a hit was their left fielder, Raimel Tapia, and he went 2 for 4 with a run. For the Atlanta Braves, the win went to their starting pitcher, Charlie Morton. He allowed 2 earned runs and 2 hits in 7 innings pitched, as he would strike out 4 on the day. With this win, Charlie Morton is 13-5 on the season. In the Braves batting lineup, their right fielder, Jorge Soler, went 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, went 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run. He would go on to hit his 26th home run of the year. Their center fielder, Adam Duvall, went 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He would hit his 31st home run of the season. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are 72-64. That is the best record in the National League East. They've won 4 of their last 10 games as they sit 2 games ahead of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies in their division. And right now, they are holding that 3rd seed in the National League playoff picture as they trail the 1st seed San Francisco Giants from the West. And they also trail the Milwaukee Brewers, who are leading the way from the Central at the moment. With this loss, the Colorado Rockies are 63-74. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games, and they trail the San Francisco Giants by 24 games in the division. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Brewers were able to pull off a 6-5 win at home. The Cardinals were leading 5-1 going into the bottom of the 9th. It would be a Luke Maile single to at least decrease the Cardinals' deficit to 3, and it would be a grand slam from Daniel Vogelbach to walk the Brewers off in fashion. For the St. Louis Cardinals in this matchup, the start was given to John Lester. He allowed only 1 earned run in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The loss was given to the Cardinals closer, Alex Reyes. He allowed 1 earned run without registering an out. This would be his 5th blown save of the season, and with this loss, he's 5-8. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their right fielder, Dylan Carlson, went 2 for 4 with a run. Their left fielder, Tyler O'Neill, went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs, as Tyler O'Neill would go on to hit his 23rd home run of the season. Also, their center fielder, Harrison Bader, went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start was given to their all-star starter, Corbin Burns. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched. He struck out 7 on the day. The win was given to the Milwaukee Brewers closer for the day, Miguel Sanchez. Miguel Sanchez allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, striking out 2. With this win, he's 2-0 on the season. In the Brewers batting lineup, their left fielder, Jace Peterson, went 2 for 5 with a run. Their third baseman, Eduardo Escobar, went 3 for 4 with a run as well. Also, their second baseman, Pablo Torres, would end up going 2-for-2 with a run. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are 84-54. That is still the best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They sit 11 games ahead of the second-place Cincinnati Reds in their division. And right now, they're holding that second seed in the National League playoff picture, sitting behind the first seed San Francisco Giants out west. And they also sit ahead of the third seed Atlanta Braves out east. With this loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are 69-66. That is the third best record in the National League Central. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 13.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Anaheim, the Los Angeles Angels hosted the Texas Rangers from within their own division. The Rangers would end up beating the Angels 7-3. The difference would be the third inning, in which the Texas Rangers scored 4 runs alone. For the Los Angeles Angels for the night, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Jansen Junk. Jansen Junk allowed 5 runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, he's 0-1 on the year. In the Angels batting lineup, their third baseman, Jack Mayfield, went 2-for-4 with a run. And also their left fielder, Joe Adell, went 3-for-3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his second and third home runs of the season. And then their shortstop, Luis Rengifo, would go 2-for-4 on the day for them as well. For the Texas Rangers, the win was given to their starting pitcher, Taylor Hearn. Hearn allowed 3 earned runs in 7 innings as he struck out 4. With this win, he's 5-4 on the season. In the Rangers batting lineup, their shortstop, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, will go 3-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their designated hitter, DJ Peters, went 4-for-5 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 9th and 10th home runs of the season. And additionally, their third baseman, Yanni Hernandez, would go 2-for-4 with a run. With this win, the Texas Rangers are 48-88. That is the worst record in the American League West and the second worst record in the American League. They've won 4 of their last 10, and they sit 31 games behind the Houston Astros in the division. They are one of 2 teams in the American League who have officially been eliminated from playoff contention at this point, the other team being the Baltimore Orioles. With this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are now 68-69. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They are the last remaining team in the American League West that's still competing for a playoff spot. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games, and they sit 11.5 games behind the Houston Astros in the division. And then jumping out to San Diego, staying within Southern California, the Padres hosted the Houston Astros in this interleague matchup. The San Diego Padres would walk off against the Houston Astros in the bottom of the 9th off of a solo home run from Jake Cronenworth to give the Padres win number 73. For the American League West leading Houston Astros, the start was given to Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia allowed 3 earned runs in 5.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 5 before the 6th inning, and within the loss was given to the Astros closer for the day, Ryan Stanek. Stanek allowed 1 earned run in 0.1 inning pitched, and with his loss, he's 1-4 on the season. In the Astros batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, went 2-for-4 with a run. And then for the San Diego Padres, the start was given to Chris Paddock. He allowed 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. The win was given to the Padres closer, Mark Melancon. Melancon allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he walked 3 batters and he would strike 1 out. He did not allow any runs regardless. With this win, Mark Melancon is 4-2 on the year. In the Padres batting lineup, their shortstop, Drake Cronenworth, went 2-for-3 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 20th home run of the season. Their first baseman, Eric Hosmer, went 2-for-2 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the San Diego Padres are 73-64. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They trail the San Francisco Giants by 14 games in the division, and they are holding on to that second National League wildcard spot. They trail the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers sit in that first spot. These San Diego Padres sit 13 games behind the Dodgers in the wildcard race. But within the race, they sit half a game ahead of the Cincinnati Reds, who are the first team on the outside looking in as of right now. With this loss, the Houston Astros are 79-57. That is the best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They sit 4.5 games ahead of the second-place Seattle Mariners in their division. And right now, they're holding on to that second seed in the American League playoff picture if the playoffs were to start today. They've lost their last 2 games. They've lost 5 of their last 10, just to give a sense of where the Astros are at the moment. Jumping out to Phoenix, just one state over, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the Seattle Mariners. The game will go into extra innings tied at 3, thanks to Seattle scoring a run in the 7th inning off of a Jared Kelenic double play. Seattle would go on to score 7 runs in the 11th inning, and they would run away with a 10-4 win. Arizona would score a run in the 11th, but they would fall 6 runs short. For the Diamondbacks in this matchup, the start was given to Logan Gilbert. He allowed 3 earned runs in 7 innings, as he allowed 4 hits in that span, and he went on to strike out 3. The loss was given to the Arizona Diamondbacks' 4th relief pitcher for the day, Taylor Clark. He went on to allow 4 runs without registering a single out, and without registering an out in the 11th inning, might I add. In their batting lineup for the Diamondbacks, nobody on the team had more than 1 hit. Their left fielder, David Peralta, went 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run, as he would go on to hit his 7th home run of the season. For the Seattle Mariners, the start was given to Chris Flexen. He allowed 3 earned runs and 4 hits in 6 innings pitched, striking out 4. The win was given to the Mariners' 4th relief pitcher and their setup relief man, Yohan Ramirez. Ramirez allowed no earned runs in the 10th inning as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's 1-2 on the season. In the Seattle Mariners batting lineup, their first baseman, Ty France, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their second baseman, Abraham Toro, went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Their catcher, Todd Murphy, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are 75-62. That is the second best record in the American League West. They've won their last 5 games. That is the best winning streak in the American League at the moment. That is the second best winning streak in baseball behind the Chicago Cubs. They've won 6 of their last 10 games. They trailed the Houston Astros by 4.5 games in the division. And at the same time, they are trailing the Boston Red Sox by 3 games for that second American League wildcard spot. And as of right now, the Seattle Mariners are the first team on the outside looking in from the American League perspective. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are 45-93. That is the worst record in the National League West and the worst record in the National League. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 8 of their last 10. They trail the San Francisco Giants by 42.5 games, which is the difference between the best and worst teams in the National League. And also, the Arizona Diamondbacks at this moment are the only team in the National League that has been eliminated from playoff contention for the 2021 playoffs, as teams are slowly getting edged off that list. And then last but not least, jumping up to the Bay Area, the San Francisco Giants hosted the defending World Series champs, LA Dodgers. The Giants would end up beating the Dodgers 6-4 as they scored all 6 of their runs in the first 3 innings. The loss for LA would go to their elite starting pitcher, Walker Buehler. He allowed all 6 of the runs the Giants would score in 3 innings as he would strike out a batter. With this loss, Walker Buehler is 13-3 on the season. In the Dodgers batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, but their future Hall of Fame first baseman, or I guess their future Hall of Fame pinch hitter Albert Pujols went 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 16th home run of the season in the 9th inning. For the San Francisco Giants, the start was given to Dominic Leone. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. The win was given to the Orioles' second relief pitcher, Zach Little. He allowed no earned runs in an inning pitched, striking out 2 as well. With this win, he's now 2-0 on the season. In the Giants batting lineup, their shortstop Brandon Crawford went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their Right fielder Mikey Yastrzemski would go 2 for 3 with a run, and then their catcher Kirk Casale went 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are 87-50. That is currently the best record in baseball since the Dodgers and the Rays found a way to lose yesterday. They have now won 4 of their last 10 games, and they sit a game ahead of the LA Dodgers within their own division, and they're holding on to that number 1 seed in the National League, sitting ahead of the second place Milwaukee Brewers and the third place Atlanta Braves at the moment. That is what baseball is looking like following yesterday's matchups, and looking forward to what's going on today, as today is a Monday, so you'll see more day games, as today is a little bit of a travel game. But starting from the top, at 1 o'clock on ESPN, the Boston Red Sox, led by their elite starting pitcher Chris Sale, are going to host Ryan Yarbrough and the Tampa Bay Rays. Chris Sale enters this matchup with a 3-0 record alongside a 2.53 ERA. At 1:05, Zach Lothar and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Chris Bubich and the Kansas City Royals. At the same time, at 1:05, Patrick Corbin and the Washington Nationals are going to host Trevor Williams and the New York Mets. At 1:05, at the same time, Jameson Taillon and the New York Yankees are going to host the Toronto Blue Jays, led by their elite starting pitcher Hyunjin Ryu. Hyunjin Ryu enters his matchup with a 12-8 record, holding a 3.92 ERA. At 1:35, Bryce Wilson and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host Tarek Skubal and the Detroit Tigers. At 2:10, the Milwaukee Brewers, led by their all-star starting pitcher Brandon Woodruff, are going to host the Philadelphia Phillies and their all-star starting pitcher Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler enters his matchup with an 11-9 record, holding a 3.01 ERA. Brandon Woodruff enters his matchup with a 9-7 record, holding a 2.35 ERA. At 2:20, Justin Steele and the Chicago Cubs are going to host Sonny Gray and the Cincinnati Reds. Sonny Gray enters his matchup with a 7-6 record, holding a 3.89 ERA. Justin Steele enters his matchup for Chicago, holding a 3-2 record and a 3.48 ERA on the year. At 4 o'clock on ESPN, Kyle Freeland and the Colorado Rockies are going to host Kevin Gausman and the San Francisco Giants. Kevin Gausman enters his matchup with a 12-5 record, holding a 2.52 ERA. At 4:15, Miles Mikolas and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to host the LA Dodgers, led by their goated starting pitcher Max Scherzer. Scherzer enters his matchup with a 12-4 record, holding a 2.40 ERA on the year. At 6:10 on ESPN Plus, Logan Allen and the Cleveland Indians are going to host Bailey Oberter and the Minnesota Twins. At 7:10, Lance McCullers Jr. and the Houston Astros are going to host Yusei Kikuchi and the Seattle Mariners. McCullers Jr. enters his matchup with a 10-4 record, holding a 3.20 ERA. And then at 9:07, Jaime Badia and the Los Angeles Angels are going to host AJ Alexy and the Texas Rangers. So that is what's going on with baseball as we navigate through the MLB one day at a time, as we're inching month by month towards the end of the year. And then taking a look at what's going on in the world of soccer, starting within the American continent, at least out of the big matchups. Mexico was able to beat Costa Rica 1-0 off of a penalty in the first half. United States drew with Canada as both teams scored in the first half to pick up 1 point. Leaving the continent, taking a look at what's going on in South America, Brazil versus Argentina got postponed because of players, of course, not adhering to specific COVID protocol law in Brazil. Uruguay hosted Bolivia. Uruguay was able to pull off a 4-2 win, as two of their goals came from De Arrascaeta. Taking a look at what's going on in Europe, Wales was able to beat Belarus 3-2, as all 3 of their goals would come from Gareth Bale. England was able to beat Andorra 4-0, as their first goal will come from Jesse Lingard. Their second goal will come from their elite forward, Harry Kane. Goal number 3 will come from Jesse Lingard to complete his brace, and then goal number 4 will come from Bukayo Saka in the 85th minute. Continuing on, Belgium was able to beat Czech Republic 3-0, as their first goal came from their elite striker, Romelu Lukaku. Their second goal came from their elite forward, Eden Hazard, in the 41st minute, and then Saelemaekers would make it 3-0. Germany would beat Armenia 6-0, as Serge Gnabry, their elite winger, scored twice. Marco Reus from Dortmund was able to score. Timo Werner, their elite striker for Chelsea, was able to score as well. Also, Poland was able to beat San Marino 7-1, as two of their goals came from Poland's elite striker, the reigning 2020 Men's Player of the Year, Robert Lewandowski. Also at the same time, Spain was able to beat Georgia 4-0, as Ferran Torres would score their third goal, and then Italy was able to draw with Switzerland. But even though they drew, it was still able to keep their streak alive. They have now set history for 36 straight unbeaten games in international play. Congratulations to Italy. And then looking forward to what's going on today, there's not, because a lot of these other continents are taking a break from their soccer. Africa is playing a lot of their soccer, as the Ivory Coast is going to face off against Cameroon, and that's really the only matchup I'd really say look out for. But with that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 44 minutes of this piece. Of course, I want to thank the MLB, MLB, NCAA, and FIFA websites for giving me what I need for this episode. I also want to apologize for all the names that I butchered. I do intend to get them right. It's just you hear so many names. I do plan on getting them right. I do promise. And with that said, once all of today's matchups and exhibitions are done, I will come back tomorrow on Tuesday, September 7th for another episode of The Elite. So until then, thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well. And don't forget to be elite. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Peace.